Okay,
so.
all right.
Hey, Pat.
Okay. Let's get started, so be polite to everybody. I don't know how to call up that place. Maybe I go to participants.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Let me try this. More.
Uh-oh, where'd my Zoom go? Oh, there you are. Wait, then where'd my baseball go? Damn it.
Invite.
We got a quorum.
Yeah, we got a quorum.
Yep.
All right, well, we can't deal with that, so.
I mean, as long as it's recorded here, that gets sent
Right.
to the web anyway after. So it wouldn't be a big deal. It just won't be done by town hall streams. That's the only
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
And
But as
I
long as
came,
it's being recorded, it's fine.
I joined the meeting from the link that is posted on the town's website, so that if people want.
Yeah,
to
anybody
attend-
who wants to be there is
Yeah.
gonna be here, yeah.
So, but it certainly is recording because I just got the message that said it was,
Yeah,
so.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, it's 6:32 by my phone. So let's call the meeting to order. This is the regular planning board meeting of Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. And Joe and I were just bemoaning how it got to be 3 weeks into October already, but there we are. So I don't think we have the minutes of October 6th. I didn't get them. Are they out there?
No, I don't think.
Okay, so
I don't think they were.
we have no
sent.
minutes to review tonight, so we'll do that next time. I had a chat from Marianne Meinard, who's here by audio, and she said that she would like something to talk about under the public audience thing. So I'll invite anyone to have make a statement if there are a question regarding any item that's not on the agenda. So Marianne, do you have something?
I do. Thank you so much for taking me from my car to make a comment. And I'm hoping you'll bear with me for a moment because I want to ask some questions of you. I was away for an extended period of time, and I will admit I was a bit slow in doing catch up when I returned.
Man, I'm sorry. I had just for a protocol here. Give your name and your address, please.
Sure. I'm sorry. Marianne Meinard, Beach Road in South Berwick.
Thank you.
And so anyways, in trying to delve into the referendum questions, I first contacted Mark Lawrence today. And I called him because I wanted to get insights into the Right for Food amendment. And I've been trying to research, and it's challenging to find accurate, unbiased, and nonpartisan information. So my discussion with him was very valuable. We spoke of unintended consequences and the fact that this amendment, if passed, could possibly invalidate local regulations because it's a constitutional amendment. My big question was, selfishly, I guess, if this amendment passes, could my next door neighbor in Agamenicus Estates put 10 pigs in their backyard?
I'm sorry, what amendment are you talking about, Marianne?
This is the referendum amendment, the Right to Food amendment.
That's coming up in November? Okay.
Right. Okay. So Mark's response was that those types of decisions would have to be determined by the courts. And we know about the complexity and timeline for legal challenges. So I'm seeking ways to try to find out how to best communicate this. I learned that the Maine Municipal Association has created guidance and is encouraging communities to put the word out. And there's a memorandum that I forwarded to you through the chat to put out a notice of that community members should be encouraged to vote no. And that comes from MMA. And I also know that in times before, say, for example, the casino issue in town, there was a town proclamation. I'm coming to you first because I felt like, particularly around zoning, this particular constitutional amendment could definitely have a huge impact on our zoning regulations. So I thought I would begin with this esteemed group, ask you to consider it, certainly not at this moment, but of course, time is short here before our election, and perhaps communicate with our town council about the direction that the council and the planning board would want to take, be it aligned with the Maine municipal's suggestion or not. So I guess there's no answers to that right now, but I just wanted to request some clarity and perhaps a response from planning board and or town council.
So Marianne, we meet the first Wednesday of, would be November, which is the 3rd, which is after the election.
Yes.
So what would you ask us to consider that we could?
Well, I would ask you perhaps, after this meeting or perhaps during a recess in this meeting, that you look at the link I sent and read the recommendation from the Maine Municipal Association, and then perhaps communicate with the town council about the possibility of following their recommendation on the message to voters in the community.
Okay. All right. We probably, sure, I appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a big one. And I think you'll be very, well, I think if it passes, that it certainly is going to have a huge impact on zoning.
Yeah, good. As a matter of procedure, we can't take that up. We can take this input now, but we can't take it up as an agenda item tonight because it wasn't posted, but people can look at it. Does everybody have, there's a chat that Marianne included a link to everybody, if they have the ability to pull it up and they're interested, they can do that. Has everybody got that they can do that? It says chat to everyone. Can you check your chat listing and see if you got that?
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Mine's empty, but it was a chat sent through the meeting.
Yeah, but it was before you joined. So what
Okay.
I'll do is I'll say, here it is.
And if you access it, if it doesn't bring up the memo and the suggested language, it could be on page 2. You have to kind of arrow across to that link if it doesn't go directly there.
Okay, so everybody who's online now, I just sent the link through the chat, so it's all there available for you to take a look at, and you can consider actions then. Okay, thank you, Marianne.
Well, thank you, and have a good meeting. Take care.
Okay, yeah. Pat, did I see? Did you have your hand up, Pat? Unmute yourself, and then we'll hear your question. I know where you live, but tell us where you live.
Yes, I live on Brattle Street, Pat Robinson, and Chair of the Conservation Commission. I am requesting that you invite the Conservation Commission on a site walk on this next development that is on the agenda tonight. I don't know, I mean, we'll see what they say tonight. I don't know if it's going anywhere, but
Okay,
if you
right.
do,
Well, that's on a matter for tonight. We'll get there. It'll be premature to schedule a site walk today, but
okay, yeah, that's fine. But I do want you. I would appreciate you inviting the Conservation Commission to attend that site walk.
Anyone can come to the site walk, and it'll be public notice. But understand your request. Yeah.
Right. But I really feel like that we should get an invitation. So because the Conservation Commission needs to have a say. I mean, we don't want another Matlock Road problem. I think that we should be in there early on.
Okay.
I can send a link, or I can send a notice to Pat directly if Pat wants to send me her email address. I'll take care of that. If and when we ever get there, I'll take care of that.
We're getting premature. We're going to talk about this project in a minute. And we'll deal with some of the details.
I understand it's premature because it looks like it's just like a quick, like, this is what we're thinking about this, but yeah.
No application's been made yet, so.
Right, yeah, I that's what it looked like, but I just want to.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh.
well, noted, duly noted, Pat, good.
That, and for any subdivision that comes in,
Yeah,
I'd
good.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, do it, and that actually relates to some of the other stuff we're gonna talk about tonight, so that's well noted, so, okay, good. All right, good, I forgot to take the roll. Let's take the roll. I think we got, Hershey Hirschkoff, raise your hand.
Here.
Jeff Minahan, here.
Here.
Betsy Randall,
Here.
and myself. Matt Manley is not here. He may be at town hall, and I apologize that the connection's not made, but we got 4 out of 5, so that's a quorum. So, okay, good. All right. Great. Under correspondence, there's one correspondence that came late today from David to the applicants for the Meadow Pond Estates thing, which basically said you're past the time frame, you've been inactive, and we gave you a month, and you're not there. So that correspondence is part of the record, and that application is moot. I can't think of the right adverb.
Withdrawn.
Withdrawn. Okay, yeah. So that's noted.
Do
Okay,
do we
then,
have any, I'm sorry, can I just ask, David, do you have any other information about why they withdrew or decided not to move forward?
They did not withdraw. They had been planning on submitting something, and we've been waiting for months. I don't have all the dates right in front of me. I can find them quite easily, but bottom line is it's been languishing for quite some time. We went through some of the cases that have been doing so. We looked at it. The board decided that they would give the applicant 30 days to produce something to give us an idea. They did not, so we withdrew it. They can still propose it, but they have to come back and start from scratch.
And there are timeframes that they've passed in the ordinance, and we.
No, I hear you. Okay. I thought maybe there was more of a story about why, but. Okay.
No public story.
Okay.
Whatever's going on is their business, so, yeah, okay. I would, if with people's concurrence, I see Eric Weinreeb is here, virtually. We could skip over to I got the wrong one up here. Hang on a second.
Actually, if I could.
Sure, Eric.
Eric Sari was supposed to be presenting, and he went to town hall and no one was around. And he called me and I came back to the office. I am not completely up to speed on this, and he is due back here after turning around in about 10 minutes.
Okay, then we'll do some other stuff then, okay, Eric?
That would be perfectly fine with me, because I would embarrass myself because I do not know all the details of this, and he called me in a panic. So can I just ask a question? It does say on the agendas that it says in person and Zoom, but when he showed up, no one was around.
Yeah, there was a twisted circuits tonight, and the person who's supposed to be there at town hall is not there. So I apologize for that.
Okay, so
There is a Zoom meeting right now, and it is being recorded, but we don't have the live feed from the council chamber.
Well, no, and
If Manley's even there, I don't know.
And the invitation was for people to show up there, of course, and we apologize for that confusion, Eric. So
okay, that's okay. Just as long as we're fine with that. It's just as long as we understand how we got there. Okay, I will go on mute, and he'll be along very shortly.
okay, we'll do other things, and hopefully, well, we'll certainly wait for him to get there, and I apologize for his running up and down 236.
Thank you.
Okay, good. We'll come back to you then. Okay, then let's go to have I got the right? Yes, hang on a second. Let's go to item 2, which is David left our last meeting and prepared 2 things essentially. One was the cleanup, a proposed cleanup to the ZBA requirement for variances for road standards under the subdivision regulations. And we'll talk about that. He'll present what he has on that. And the second thing is we had considered 2 ordinances, one in the subdivision 121 and one in the zoning site plan for 140 regarding clarification of the notification to the public at the sketch plan level to participate and ask questions of the applicant and the applicant to make notices. So I'll hand it over to David Galbraith, and you can take it in any order you want, David.
Okay, well, why don't you guys let me know which one you want to hit first? And
Let's do the notice ones first.
okay, so how about, should we go to the, hold on, notification? How about street design? I mean, excuse me, site plan review.
Okay, sure. Let's do that one first. 140.
Okay, and you should have had, you should have that, and I'm just opening it up right now. Sorry, I didn't know which one we are gonna hit first. And
Yeah. You can
I've
put it-
already got like 10 things open, so
Are you enabled to share that?
I sure can. Give me 2 secs.
Make sure you got the rights to do that.
There we go.
I could pull it up as well if you have trouble sharing it.
Let's see. Okay, and I just got to move that back. There. So we had some screen juggling. All right, let me see. It's still opening as soon as we can. It looks like I can share it. So come on. There we go. Okay, let's try and share this. Cheapers. All right.
If I have to give you rights.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Can you see that? Make
It
sure
says
we're
you're sharing. We haven't got the image yet.
okay. Says I'm sharing.
There it is. Good. We're all set.
Okay. And that's okay. So that's the first one, and subdivision review. Sorry. There we are. Okay. Now let's see. I want to make sure. Okay. Do you see the red lines?
Yes.
You see the, okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, so this is the first document we're looking is the working draft, should be dated 10/20/2021. And it's the ordinance. We're looking at the subdivision of land, which is 121-4. And what we really focused on was looking at some amendments. We went over this last meeting, and one of the things that was kind of missing was the sketch plan. The original draft language said the city, the town has to send notification upon receipt of a sketch plan notice. We have been asking applicants to do that, but the actual ordinance language says that the town's supposed to do that. We discussed it at the last meeting, so I proposed a couple of things in here to add. The other thing is it was very vague on what information should be shared by who. So it's who's responsible and what needs to be shared. So what I did is I went through and I added all this item in red. So there's a fair amount of red, but it's just in one area. Okay. So the first thing is I wrote some language saying, here's what you need to do. And I can read through them if you'd like, or read along. A sketch plan discussion with the planning board will be scheduled according to a submission schedule set by the town. As you know, we have these schedules. When something comes in, Amy takes a look at it. She shares it with Joe. They determine when it should be on the agenda. What we're proposing is that the applicant takes that responsibility of that notice on, but we will need to tell her the date. Pretty simple stuff. So rather than, we also talked about who should be notified. So I carried the abutter language. I just put it through as an abutting property owner. That's in this section here. Is that highlighting for you?
Yes.
140. Okay, 140. I basically referred back to the definition section only because if we change the definition section, it will automatically get updated. So that's a little bit of housekeeping on that one. Item number 2 outlines you need to have it the notification in writing, and it needs it to include an overview of the application, just basically what you're trying to do. 18 lots, for example, using today's example, and single family subdivision, this amount of acreage, blah, blah, blah. It needs to also include the sketch plan meeting date and time, which is the town will notify them of what that date will be. So meeting time, location, and the contact information for both applicant and town staff.
You got city staff there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Good catch. All right. I'm going to, this should be my track changes. So let's see. Nope, but that's fine.
Right, yeah.
Put that in bold. Okay, sorry about that. There. So, me too soon. Okay, so good catch.
Hey, David, I have one quick question, if I
Uh-huh.
might.
Please.
Abutters, I assume, just refers to people who are adjacent or contiguous to the property, right?
And across the street or across water bodies.
Okay, is there ever, I was the impression, I remember having notified abutters myself that sometimes it was like within a certain number of feet or, especially if
is.
it were, it is, okay.
It's by 250 feet, but again, if that definition ever changes,
Yeah,
it'll automatically update to this. So if we suddenly
Okay.
decide, let's notify everyone within 5, we're covered.
okay, and that's the definition it refers back to in parentheses. Okay,
Exactly.
gotcha.
And I've got that in a separate document if we want to look at that before we
No,
wrap it up.
that's fine. I believe you.
Okay,
Okay.
I should have also given you fair warning. I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone on this. So the other language that we're going to be looking at, probably the next item, which would be, what are we looking at now? Subdivision, will be site plan. So the notification, we wanted to carry that over. So almost all this language is mirrored.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
So
Great.
the last thing is we talked about putting a deadline on when that notification needs to be received. We decided, part of discussion, we said, I put in 7 days here. I thought that was the general, so they have to receive that notification within 7 days of the hearing.
Well, it
Or,
says
excuse
sent.
me, with a meeting, it has to be sent within that.
Yeah.
Yes. Sent, yes, that's within a minimum. So, and then I did not, so this is all language that we had. This is language that I copied from the other document.
Okay,
And
so let me ask a question, David. So that that makes total sense. That big fat paragraph you just went by, that
Right.
that was not part of the subdivision sketch plan thing, but now you brought it in from the site plan review.
most of it was missing from both the site plan and both the sketch plan review issues and the site plan review. So subdivision and sketch plan. What I did is I looked at the language of both, and I basically wrote this section from. I should have started with the other one probably, but
That's fine. That's fine. No, I got it.
but what I did is I wanted them to read the same.
So you're talking about
So
the,
same notification, same requirements as far whether they're doing a site plan for a new McDonald's
Right,
or they're
right.
doing a subdivision.
but
same
that big fat paragraph that starts, the applicant shall be prepared to provide the board with blah blah blah.
Correct.
After that, that's new, but it's a compilation of the two.
Exactly.
Got it.
And additional language that I put in there because we talked about they have to notify them of the meeting. But in for example, it didn't say you have to notify them of the time, location, and date. I mean, it's common sense stuff, but if we don't
Okay.
spell it out.
Okay. Good.
The other issue that I went down, if we can go down to drop down to D here, is the old language said that the planning board may require a public hearing. So what I did, I took that out and I said the planning board shall public meeting shall be held, and blah blah blah. And then I just referred back to the prior section.
Yep.
And other than that, that's really it.
David, have we determined yet whether this is something we can do administratively or would have to go to town council as an ordinance change? We don't know.
Well, originally, when I first looked at the language, we were gonna just change sort of the shall to may, because it originally, the planning board may have, so we thought if we're saying making the requirement just slightly different, we're not changing the overall triggers of what happens when. I've added enough language that I was gonna ask the town attorney, but I think I've added enough language that I'd just rather take it to the town council as a housekeeping item and really say we did that. So that's really it. I thought it was fairly easy, but I figured you guys may want to wordsmith some of this. So
Question. This is a butters. That's what was there before.
Mhm.
With the input from the Conservation Commission earlier this evening, would we want to also have them notify other town boards?
We can have, at the sketch plan level, we can require notification of anything that you want. If it's a requirement of the ordinance, they need to do it.
Right.
So we can certainly require, we could put in there, other boards as determined by the city staff, or mostly I think the Conservation Commission, for the most part, is going to be interested in subdivisions.
Yeah, but,
I'm guessing, but there may be some projects that are abutting sensitive areas or whatever that the Conservation Commission may want to go, hey, geez, you don't want to put that Walmart there, not that we have one coming, because there's 30 acres of wetland.
But also, I mean, there might be something that the historic board would want to be, so
Right.
we add, who would determine that list? Or I suppose it could be part of the notification, but they always have to notify.
Right. If you want to notify them, I would say you notify them in writing, just like you would an abutting property owner, and it would likely be, like I said, the historic commission. That's going to be very project specific, so we
Yeah, I
usually do
suspected
that anyway. But
not-
with anything else, we can certainly say the conservation district. The other thing that I wouldn't mind putting in there is, for example, the school district.
No.
If we, I mean, I don't know if they need to be involved with bus stops, but that could happen after, if and when
Yeah, that can happen. Yeah, I
it's
think
not really part of the site plan review process, but notification, but certainly
Well, I
the
think
conservation commission.
abutters is abutters, and then other town boards. They wouldn't do the library board, they wouldn't do this,
No.
that, but we should identify which other town boards, including the Conservation Commission, should be part of the notification.
Okay. Ordinance. I'm just trying to figure where we want to drop it in.
Yeah.
Can I just
Yeah,
add it?
I-
If it's in the historic district, can we make sure the historic, I assume they have to get notified anyway, right?
Sooner or later.
Yeah.
This brings them in at sketch.
Yeah, so I would say if it's within our historic zone or the purview of the historic commission, then them.
Conservation Commission, obviously.
Are there any other, there's no other standing boards that would have potential interest, is there?
Let's see. Hold on. I don't know if am I still screen sharing?
Yep.
Okay, let me go back to that then. I'm like, I could do a once over of the boards, but certainly we can.
Yeah, and just make, and it's got to be, land use, or not land use, but boards that have jurisdiction or could have jurisdiction depending on the circumstances.
We're not doing the rec board and stuff like that, but it's really so
No.
I would just say the Conservation Commission, and if I'll look through the list of other town boards, I'll see if any.
The Historic District Commission and the Conservation Commission, and if there's others, we can think about that, but I would for sure do those two.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, okay, so let me do this real quick. So I just want to save this one. Okay. All right, I've got that one. Get that out of here. There you go. I'm giving you back your screen real quick. Should we go to the next one?
Site plan, yes.
Okay, so let's see. So site plan, yeah. And- Okay, now, oh, there you guys are. All right. Sorry, I've got to move people on screens here, so I've got to change you from one screen to the other. I can't see you and you can't see me. There we go. Okay. Let's try this one. Are you able to see that now?
There you go. Good.
Okay. So this is the site plan approval. Again, working draft. Same kind of things I did. So this is where I originally started. So I apologize. I really should have thought about it and used this. So what I did is I went by in the site plan procedures and I was reading all of the things that we already talked about in site plan procedures. Almost everything from it is applicable to subdivision and site plan of subdivision or sort of. So this language had a little bit more detail. So what I started out with is just the items that we listed in red. And this is what I used for the one that we just went over. Okay.
Yeah.
So this basically says the exact same thing, except last time it was all in red because I'd cut and pasted it from one document to the other. But it's really the same things. I'd need to cut and just make the same kind of modifications to that. And the only other thing in this one is, oh, it's the other one. Okay. And that's really it. So I could add same notification.
Yeah, the same thing about the Conservation
Okay.
Commission, Historic District, and whatever other boards. Yeah. Okay, just stepping back from this 3 or 4 steps, what we started with was a suggestion of this board that we make it more easy or more required that applicants for either subdivision or site plan bring in the public, and they're responsible for bringing in the public at the sketch plan level, which is where real decisions can be made.
Right.
And we discovered that the ordinances had it already, but it was a made situation. The town had to do it. So all this is doing is to cleaning it up to make it formalized that the applicant makes these notifications, and therefore the public has the possibility and the right to ask questions of the applicant at the first level that they come to the board, which is a sketch plan. So it turns out we didn't have that much work to do. It's not new material, but it's cleaned up to accomplish that goal that we set up about a month ago.
Right.
So is our next step, Bill, do we have to vote on this and then pass it to the town council?
I think what we want to do is have David propose a final ordinance next time, and we can vote at that time on the ordinance, and also to send it on to the town council. Because we have a couple of minor changes to this, which we'll want to bless at the next time.
Now,
Okay.
did you want to try and do a public hearing on it at the next meeting? I don't know if we could with Amy not being in, but if I modified the language, we could technically do a public hearing, get some more public input. But I assume we'll probably workshop this with all these 3 items with the council at a workshop.
I would prefer to workshop them with the council because yeah.
Okay, so like I've done in the past, I'll write a memo saying, here's what we're looking at doing. And the board is recommending the matter be workshop.
Are we required to workshop it?
No, but
No.
Is there something so controversial about this? Because to me, this is like a great step forward, and
Yeah. Well,
fewer meetings is better in life, if you ask me, but that's just me.
yeah, you're right.
I agree with you. Yeah, so the one thing we can do is suggest that we workshop it. I don't think there's anything on here that's that controversial, but I was also going to run these 2 that we've just been discussing in front of the town attorney, because I think they're not substantive changes necessarily. So I'm going to let him make that determination.
Okay.
And
let's do
if
that.
not, we could do a public hearing at the next meeting And if we don't need to send it to council and
Yeah,
just,
okay. Let's
make
do
it-
that. Let's, if you can make final drafts for next time, have a conversation with Phil Saucier, and then we can make a decision next time what to do with them. But I agree
Great.
with you. There's no point in over baking them. Okay. Is there consensus of the board to move forward with these things? I don't think we need a vote, but if everybody's nodding yes,
Yes.
keep going.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I see.
okay.
Great.
Is the other applicant here? Because this is a good breaking point. I'm going to stop sharing now.
And then we could come back to the waiver business.
Yes, it is. I don't know if the applicant's here. Do you want to
There he
hit
is.
that waiver?
Sorry.
Yep, I am here.
Do you want to
Okay,
move on to that next?
let's do that and we'll come back to the ordinance, not to waste Eric's time. We've already wasted enough of
Okay.
Eric's time.
I think I wasted my own time.
Well, no, it's Eric, we apologize, the administrator of the office on this, it was out tonight, and we didn't close the loop on office versus no office, and under normal conditions, the town offices would have been open and you would have been broadcast from that location, so.
Yep.
So
Well,
you,
I did go in and there were a bunch of ladies in there having a meeting. They were very startled to see me.
okay, well.
I don't know what they were meeting for, but
Well,
oh well.
we apologize for your round trip to South Berwick, but there you are, so.
Well, it's a scenic ride up Route 236, you know?
There it is, okay. All right, so I just laid the groundwork for the board and the public. You sent us a letter with some attachments last week. You requested a consultation. You haven't made application yet. So this is all talk.
Yep.
And if you make application, there'll be a bunch of stuff you have to do. But so if you have questions of us, you want to talk in general about a project, then have at, please.
Well, could you guys let me share my screen?
Uh,
Or
I
can I
should.
just go ahead?
Try it. Try it, see if it
Let's try
works.
it. All
Hey,
right.
it doesn't work.
All right, good. Well, for the record, I'm Eric Sari from Altus Engineering. I'm here on behalf of the potential future applicant Dozal. I don't think any of those gentlemen are here on Zoom tonight. They're probably driving around South Berwick. But we've got a parcel on Witch Trot Road. This is, it's a 73-acre parcel. Wooded. It does have a few little structures on there and a couple of woods roads, and it was proposed for subdivision many, many years ago. But something happened back then and it did fall through. So the project has come back to life, and what we're envisioning are two different versions of an 18-lot subdivision. Either the one you see in front of you on the screen, which is a conventional subdivision, which has got road access to 2 points on Witch Trot, 2 cul-de-sacs off it, and obviously the loop that goes all the way around with the lots accessed off the road. And the second one, I'm doing this right, there we go, is a cluster or conservation subdivision. Still 18 lots, but it reduces the road length by about 50% and puts about 80% of the lot into conservation as open space. So obviously there'd be a lot less environmental impact on that. So I'm here just to discuss this very broadly with you guys, to take your temperature on it, see if you guys have any comments, condemnations, questions before we go into hard design. One of the issues with the conservation subdivision up here on the screen is the 600-foot long cul-de-sac limit that you guys have in town. The 600-foot limit is right here. So in order to access the back, we would need relief on that. Right now, we've got about 2,700 feet of road in this configuration. If we went with the other one, the conventional, obviously we don't need relief on the cul-de-sac because we are accessing Witch Trot in both locations. I'm of a mind that even though, you know, it's great to have big lots and land, I think that this layout really preserves a lot more land and is less invasive on every aspect of the natural environment here. It has a little bit less in terms of wetland impacts, obviously puts land aside in conservation. So that's the angle that we're approaching here. That's pretty much all I have at this point. I think this is more just a forum for you guys to comment and ask any questions and for me to get a little direction from you guys. Do you have a preference between the plans? And if so, and if we do go with the cluster, could there be some relief to the 600-foot cul-de-sac limit? So I think maybe we'll start with that. What do you guys think?
Oh,
Go ahead.
well, I think that some advice would be to be in touch with DEP right away
Absolutely.
and not wait till the end.
Yep.
I also think, sorry, I'm losing my words, but I mean, being able to prove that, you know, you won't be damaging, you know, certain wildlife or natural, you know, water places. I mean, that's going to be huge. And I just, sorry, I'm just totally blanking.
Yeah.
But I think that it would definitely be worth the time and effort to do the DEP first, because we have learned a lesson that it will take a very, 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 very long time.
Yes, it does.
If we don't have a for sure thing that will happen, and we will require I'm guessing, I mean, I would obviously ask Bill about this, but I would guess that we are going to require a full traditional plan before we'll even consider look at me, I can't finish the cluster.
I think
I mean,
when Betsy, if I'm hearing you right, you talk about DEP, but there's also the IF&W review, which is the specific wildlife review.
Yeah, that would be part of it. We're over 15 lots, so we'd have to go for site location anyway. So all of those bases will be covered.
I guess what we're saying, Eric, is that we've had more than one project in the last couple of years get killed by that late in the game.
So they went through you guys, they got approval, waiting for
They
their
did
state permits.
approval, but they took months and months and meetings and meetings of our time. And then when they were headed towards the end, maybe they got creamed by IF&W.
Okay,
You just
that is good advice.
Yeah, and it wiped out lots all over the place.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah,
I think
this lot.
If you get an IF&W consultation early, maybe before you even bring a sketch plan to us, that might be, because you could have ideas here that just don't fly.
Yep.
So.
Okay,
and
that makes sense.
we're required to make sure that you can prove a traditional subdivision plan will work there before we can even consider a cluster.
Yep. Well, that would be this plan here, which would be the yield plan. So it's the same number of lots.
But the IF&W things would have to apply to this as well. So we have to be comfortable that those are feasible lots.
I'd run it through both ways, I think, because I can run the data search on IFW with both plans. This lot does have some vernal pools. I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen. So there's definitely some significant habitat out there, which is a concern.
How are they designated on the screen? Are they the dark shaded ones?
Well, the wetlands are in green, and the dark shaded ones are the vernal pools. The crosshatch ones are like this one up in here. That's a significant pool. So that has a 250-foot buffer to it, which we can encroach upon up to 25%. And then the regular old vernal pools, not significant vernal pools, are the ones with just the diagonal hatching.
And how have they been characterized to date?
I believe Joe Noel did the flagging and the assessment on those. And I believe that the state is aware of all the pools here, especially the significant ones. So those will show up on IFW on the mapper.
Yeah, and has there been the thing that has been troublesome for these other projects is species, endangered species.
Yeah, we haven't gotten that far yet. So IF&W will definitely trigger that. I mean, I know we're going to get a hit on long-eared bat, northern long-eared bat. We hit that every single project in the state. But I don't know about anything else.
Well, there's the turtles and
oh, yep.
A couple other things have been showing up, and we didn't want to spend all the time, and the applicant did not want to get the big surprise that they had towards the end after much effort and a lot of money. So
that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. So I think I'll start with IF&W and probably have a pre-consultation with DP after I get IF&W data, just to see if this is even worth pursuing.
Yeah, and, you know, I think ideally, if you could do that even before we're dealing with sketch, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah, that's easy enough.
Now, the other thing is that go to the cluster idea there. How long would that road be to the far cul-de-sac?
It's 2,700 feet total. This is about 500, so you're looking at 2,200 to the throat here.
Okay, 22 is a lot. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
That's a big.
it is. The problem is the shape of the lot where you've got this long, narrow bit here to get back into the big piece, which is why a loop road makes sense, but you have greater environmental impact doing that.
Oh yeah, you got a lot more road for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have a locus location? I know where this is, but I'm not sure everybody else does.
Not on the plan. No, I don't.
Could you pull up Google Earth and we could find it?
Let's try that. Let's see here. Can you guys see that?
No.
Not
Is there
yet.
just is there a Witch Trot Road number or address? I know there's a tax.
There's no address because there's no house.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
If
Is
you
it
could
between
pull up-
two other addresses?
Well, but if you
Between
pull up both, if you
61
just
and
do-
65, 60, something like that. It's right around 65.
just go to any of those things that.
Yeah, I think we're right in here, or maybe I think it's this piece actually.
I still got the other, yeah, got the other screen up, Eric.
Oh, let's stop sharing. Let's try it again.
Yeah.
You guys got that?
There we go.
Okay. So
Okay.
town's over here. We got Cox Pond here. This is Witch Trot Road through here.
So go to that, that's the intersection off 236. That's
Yep,
Uh,
right here.
no, yeah, and that's where they're, where they're talking about, that's the 91 intersection. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
and then you hang a left and go north on Witch Trot Road. Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
So Witch Trot going up here, and then it's off on the left. I think it's this piece in here.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is, because it's been timbered, you can see, and the lot shape has got this angle in it. So yeah, you can see what's on the site now. It's just a couple of trailers, somebody's got a boat, just a couple of woods roads. But there
Okay,
is no house.
So it's to the north of Witch Trot Road on
Yep.
the left side going out. Okay,
Yep.
that's after the top of the hill, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
once,
you're going downhill in this area. Yep.
Okay, that's helpful.
So it abuts the power lines.
I think there's a piece in the way, actually, but yeah, it's right up next to them. I don't think it actually touches them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thanks. That's helpful to me.
Eric, can I ask, or is the board done asking some questions, or?
Go ahead, David.
Okay, some of the things that, Eric, when I'm going over my review for the town is, I'll want to know complete street lengths, and if you could break that down and impervious for both designs.
Okay.
And really what I'm going to be wanting is on, basically on the traditional design, the entire loop road. I want to know the entire length of the loop and the connector piece connecting the loop to the main roadway. On the cluster development, just the full lengths to the end of the right of way, the proposed right of way. The other thing that always helps is a narrative, giving me a breakdown or giving the board a breakdown of number of lots, acreage of lots, the intent of the project, just overall kinds of things. How are they going to be served? I assume you're looking at doing wells and septic out here.
Yeah.
Okay, wells and septic. I assume there's no hydrants anywhere out in the neck of the woods, so
I
won't
don't
ask
think
those.
so.
I don't think so. And maybe a little bit more information if you blow up your site location plan
Mhm.
to a really big size, that'd be helpful. We may look at some traffic counts in the area. And I will be looking for site distance is always a big one. I think you've got a fair amount in that location. You had talked about a prior case that went forward, maybe just a quick summary of what that happened. They proposed a case they withdrew it, it got denied, whatever. I don't know what the issues may have
Yeah,
been.
I've only seen the plan on that. I don't know the history. All I know is it obviously never got built. So I don't know the
Okay.
reason why it dissolved.
That's the least important, but
Yeah.
It never went to planning board.
okay. I wasn't, if there was suddenly
They
some
never went through it.
contaminated.
They dragged their feet and didn't do anything, and then finally the market tanked and they just withdrew, and that was it.
Okay,
And it was
okay.
supposed to encompass this lot and another lot to the
Yeah.
north.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the road went all the way through.
Correct.
Yeah.
About
All
when
the way to Double J Lane.
about when was that proposal made?
Oof, Jeez, that was probably 2008, probably, right in that
Yeah.
area.
You say it never got to the planning board, Joe?
They brought conceptual plans in and stuff like that, and then it just died. You know,
I've been
they
on the
had to,
planning board since 2008 and I never saw it, so.
yeah, so it was before that then.
Okay. Yeah,
It's been a while.
I just want to make
CDL
sure if there was any major thing for the reason that it never went forward, there was suddenly some, archaeological site there or something. I don't know. I just want
No, that
I-
wasn't it.
no,
That wasn't it, no.
obviously I meant why did it not move forward? That was all.
Yeah, I think the
the-
logistics with the Double J Lane area is where it got bottlenecked.
Okay.
Because that was a private road and they wanted the world.
Okay. The other thing is a project, probably a project name, a subdivision name.
Yep.
Early on, and maybe you could talk to Joe about street names. We're not there yet, but it's nice for us to be able to track it by a street name or something like that. You could talk to Joe or however that is, but sometimes we get a proposed name when it comes in, and we've had cases change names literally 3 times, and trying to find all the documents associated with the review has been challenging once or twice.
Yeah.
So that's
It
all.
should be the project name would be better because road
Yeah.
names.
Yeah, I
think
meant,
the-
project name.
The map and lot number should be on everything, anyway.
Right. Mhm.
Jeff, did you have any questions of Eric at this time?
No, I just, yeah, no, I don't have anything at this point, especially now knowing it's the other side of the road from Cox Pond, and waterways there doesn't seem to be any real tributaries or whatnot from what I can tell. So that was what I was looking at. That would be concerned with.
Hershey, I think we hit on Betsy Hood on your issue with IF&W early on, which we all agree on. We spent better part of a year on a project that should have been killed at the outset with IF&W.
Yep.
Oh,
It was a year. I think we missed it by 2 weeks. It started in September. We just sort of wrapped it up when we wrapped it up. So September 2020.
IF&W, if they'd known what they needed to know at the beginning with IF&W, we could have saved a lot of heartache.
I think the only one I was just out there last week. That's a little windy road and whatnot. I know we've talked about it before. Not sure how much you would take into account, Eric. But one of the things I tend to think of is the amount of the traffic and safety with
Yep.
cars entering I don't know how much you can handle with that, but it's just one of those things that pop in my mind. I want to bring up. That's all.
yeah, we'd have to check the site distance to make sure it works at any driveway location.
Is there any source of ADT on that road, do you know?
No idea.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten that far. I'm at the stage where I just drew a concept and this is where we're at.
Understood. Got it. No, I think
You could tell we're all bitten on the last issue that we had. So
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to send everyone time and money.
Well, we don't want to waste your time or your money or mine. So
Okay. So we suggest you think about these comments, and if you come back with an application for a subdivision and an alternative cluster, it should include the things that we're talking about, even at the
Yep.
sketch plan level.
Okay,
Oh, and also if you could, sorry, any tree lines that exist currently and where they exist and where where you're proposing to eliminate vegetation areas, tree coverage and stuff like that.
okay, yeah. Yeah, pretty much the whole site, except for a little area in here is wooded, so I think what we do is just draw a limit of disturbance. I mean, on the house lots itself, it'd probably be a guesstimate.
Okay.
But I can
Yeah.
definitely nail the road down and the stormwater and let you know what would come out for that.
Okay.
And again, these are single family homes, correct?
Yes, they are.
And they're on-site water and sewer, obviously. There's nothing, no water or sewer up there.
Yep, yep.
How
Yeah,
big
that's another thing. We're gonna need to do test pits to prove out septic systems.
So these are all, what's the typical small lot size there? Is that,
Well,
20
the minimum in a cluster is 20,000, but I think the smallest one is a hair under 24. Yeah, lot 4 is 23,866.
Yeah, got it.
And then the biggest one, I think we got a 41,000 right over here.
Yeah, okay.
So they're not micro lots, but they're not estate lots either, which is kind of the idea.
Okay. Well, sorry for your road trip up to South Berwick and back, but we caught up with it.
Sorry for the confusion.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I got all dressed up for nothing.
Hey, and Eric, if you want to contact me directly, there's a case that came before the board in the last 6 months or so that did a really nice job of putting together a subdivision with all of the endangered species and wetlands and you name it, and it made the review go 10 times faster, easy.
Okay.
So
was
if you
the name?
want to, anybody remember the name of that one? Let me.
Off of Mountain Road?
Parent?
Yeah, what did we call it? That was.
Mountain Road East and West or something like that?
Was it?
Yeah. I've got it, but if you my contact information should be on the town's website.
Yep.
And if not, you can Amy or Joe know how to get hold of me.
Okay. All right.
Oh, actually, I could email you. I'll email you instead.
Even better.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
All right. Nice to meet you guys too. Appreciate it.
Yep, sure enough. Thank you.
All right. Have a good evening.
I'm pretty sure looking at subdivision plans, like I was re-traumatized. And I just couldn't get the words out.
There you go. That's good.
Oh my goodness.
But if you make a joke now, we get traumatized. You look at the Zoom screen. I think Joe's playing Halloween, kind of leering behind a black curtain there today. Anyway, all right, let's get back to the ordinance review. And so we got those two notification things understood, and we're doing that. And then we also noticed that we had a perennial problem with the assignment to the Zoning Board of Appeals for variances of road standards, not waivers by the planning board, and which it used to be years ago. And so David's gone through the ordinance and has a memo to go through on that.
Yep. And I'm going to again try and let's see if I can share my screen. All right. And okay, can you see it says street specifications? Okay. Okay, so as Bill gave an overview, we're looking to clean up some of this language. There's a couple of items in here when I went through that are really, they spelled cul-de-sacs with an extra S. So this is the cul-de-sac. So I made all those changes and I'm tracking them as a, change it all at the same time, housekeeping kind of things. The main item here is under the design standards, item N. If you remember, the language that was in there gave the authority to waive street design standards to the Zoning Board of Appeals. What the issues are, one, they called it a zoning variance. Two, they gave it to the Zoning Board of Appeals, who doesn't review any other design aspect of either site plan or subdivision review for that matter. and they're using wrong terminology and the like. So there was a number of things. So I have two documents that we can look at today. The first one is the actual text amendment that I put in here. I added some language, and this is really this first sentence that I'm pointing at here that I added.
Yep.
There was the talk about undue hardship. Undue hardship is a standard. Undue hardship is a standard that is from granting variances, and they're not looking for a hardship standards. And I can talk about that, and I talk about that in my memo that I've already drafted for the town council once you guys amend that. So we'll hit that next. But I took out the hardship standards, but the issue with the undue hardship is there was no other specifications in the ordinance about why the board would even want to consider. First of all, it's the ordinance is written so the authority would be transferred from the zoning board of appeals and put it back where it was originally, and with the authority being the planning board. I mean, who better to, we've talked about the reasons why, so we can get into that later, but and then I also added some language in here. So let's start here. With the required standard is clearly illogical or impractical, I added, and upon showing that the proposed roadway design will result in a superior overall project design, and I took up all those hardship standards, and then the planning board may grant a waiver from the standards. And then I added, appeals to the planning board waiver determination shall be taken to Superior Court. Again, that's where it belongs. The zoning board should not be there to, for $150, challenge the planning board's authority on every single thing. So that is
without that, the appeal is to the zoning board.
Yep. Yeah, we don't even need to have that in there. I just wanted to spell it out because it seems like the zoning board is, if we don't agree with the planning board, we automatically do that. If the planning board denies an application, or someone has a problem because you say, yeah, I'm going to approve, the planning board says we're going to approve this, but we're not going to grant, for example, the roadway length waiver, that could kill a project. If and when a project, if an applicant, whether it be in a butter or the applicant is denied, they ought to take that challenge to the it's right in front of me. I'm trying to read it. Superior Court.
Well, let's put that in yellow for now. Let's think about that.
That may be something that it's another question that I've got to ask the town attorney.
Also, it's you know, we got the entire zoning ordinance 140 allows for decisions of the planning board to be appealed to the ZBA based on facts and so forth, or procedures. So to take this out of that would be controversial, and I haven't thought it out myself.
Yeah.
We had that one case on the Bennett lot business where they appealed it, but like I said, from my experience in 13 years, that's the first time I ever saw that. So I haven't seen anybody do that except for that one time. So,
Right.
But it's talk to Phil, and also we'll want to think about the policy of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the language you have about the circumstances is excellent.
Okay, thank you.
Can
Is there any, okay, go ahead, George.
Well, currently our standards are, it's a 600-foot roadway is allowed. Is that right?
Mhm.
Yep.
But we, it seems, have always waived it in all the projects I've been on so far, because it doesn't really allow you to develop to the full extent the rest of the ordinance allows. Is that fair to say?
In certain cases, yes.
So what I don't really understand is, why is it 600 feet? Was that a fire department requirement? Or was there did we want to basically ensure that people didn't do huge developments, and so we limited the amount of roadway only to waive it all the time? I mean, I don't really understand what the 600 feet was supposed to accomplish to begin with.
I think it was just a dead end design kind of thing.
No, that
And
Hershey's question's right on.
Right, and if we're just gonna constantly waive it, then maybe we should rethink 600 feet.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
My understanding was it started out as a fire department thing, but fire departments are usually good with 1,200 feet or 1,500 feet even.
Correct. The thing was, back in the day, they said 600 feet and stuff like that, and then they never wanted to change it. The thing is, we keep plenty of hose on the trucks. We keep plenty of water on the trucks.
So
We don't
Joe,
have
can
issues. As
Joe,
long as the road is built to a standard, there should be no issue how long it is, because and as long as you have turnarounds, it should be fine, because
So-
it's built to a standard.
so Joe, are you saying the 600 feet came from the fire department originally?
Negative, no, it didn't.
It
That was
didn't.
maybe back in the 40s, 50s and 60s. And then when they did zoning, maybe that was something they thought about.
And
But
actually,
today, not
well,
even close.
Hershey, I could tell you that the town council 10 years ago,
Yeah.
this was kept as a growth control.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Okay, so if that was the intent, to me, it means every time we have whether it's a subject like the plans we just looked at, right? If we decided not to waive the 600-foot requirement, their project is impractical, and it's sort of in conflict with what we allow for zoning in general, in terms of the number of lots they're allowed to have, in terms of the size of their whole
Yeah. And
piece of property.
it goes in direct conflict with the cluster concept. Because cluster concepts almost always end up with a shorter dead end road and much less total road to leave land undeveloped.
Okay, well, so that would seem like that would be because that's not actually associated with just, this is just the item that we were talking about today was just talking about the waiver authority and things like that. In the street standards, it sounds like perhaps the board wants to also look at that language again.
We did that. Well, what happened? I'm acting as the history guy here.
Please,
We
please
did
act as
that.
the history
We went
guy.
through all the road standards and did a wholesale modification into what they are now. I don't know, 8-10 years ago, and it all made sense. And the town council at that time had a growth control mindset. Some of them did. And so they took the waivers away from the planning board and gave them to the zoning board, which was illogical.
Just to make it more difficult.
Exactly. So we've changed the road standards, we fixed the road standards, and they took the waiver away from us.
Okay, but even if we got the waiver back, it would still be 600 feet, which is, it seems impractical.
Right.
And not only that, it in my eyes, it would constitute basically a taking, because you wouldn't, no one could develop the lots they're allowed to have in the zoning ordinance with a 600-foot road.
Well, or they have to do the loop roads. So
Right, yeah, like the one we talked about. But so if we're talking about roadway designs, that I think we should bring that up in a. I mean, I can change that, but this was just for the. This is just for the waiver. The
That's
waiver
fine.
thing. So,
I'm fine with bringing the waiver back to where it belongs, but then I think we should continue having this discussion about the road limits.
It's a separate discussion.
yeah,
That's
I
fine.
do too. So should we put that as maybe a discussion item, the roadway length issue
Sure.
for
We can do
one of
that.
our next meetings?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
And the whole moving something to a variance from a zoning board of appeals, who's the enabling legislation for the zoning board, has nothing to do with waivers. It's variances of zoning. It was just weird, and it didn't work at all.
So that being said, is there language in the actual the language that I provided? Is there any changes that the board wants to have? I'm going to talk to Phil about the policy decision.
Yep.
And show him this kind of thing, but the actual verbiage doesn't change a whole lot.
No,
Trying to explain the verbiage is the the trick here, I think.
No,
It'll-
I think from my eyes, it looks perfect.
Okay. Okay, so I will, can we, can I get a consensus from the board?
Go for it.
All right, so
Yeah,
let's
I see 4
let's
thumbs
save
up.
that. Now, the last, in association with this, the last item that we had was, give me 1 second, here we are. I also included, hold on, this document should pop up. There we go. Can you see this memorandum?
Yep.
This is probably where you would, this is only talking about the waiver, moving the waiver the variance standards to a waiver standards and moving the authority from the zoning board to the planning board. That's all this memo is covering. And I thought that you guys would want, so the memo that I wrote it to you, I sent it to you. The way I wrote this was that the next time you would see it would not be from me, it would be from the planning board to the town council.
Do it.
Because this had,
Yes, that's fine. That was fine, David.
was there any changes that you guys wanted in that document?
I thought this was well written. I liked it. I didn't have a,
Yes.
I often have edits. I didn't have any on this one.
All right. All right, that is all I had to, I'm gonna stop sharing before I get some more work here.
Great. Thank you, David. Good work. We'll
Thanks.
move all this ahead. So, okay. All right, so we got no other business. Member comments. Anybody have member comment? I always do, but I'll wait. So, I've been contacted by a potential applicant to the planning board, who I think is got a lot to offer, and he has a standing conflict on many first and third Wednesdays. And his question was, would the board and would our bylaws allow, if he was appointed to the planning board, allowed to go to the second and fourth Wednesdays? We just flop it over for the second and fourth rather than the first and third. And I said I'd run it by the board, and if we choose to do that, we can do it by bylaws, and there's no big deal. Would anybody have other conflicts in their lives if it was shifted to the second? This is only in the event that he applies, he gets appointed, and then requests that we move the thing over.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I hate to be wishy-washy, but I need to check my schedule a little more carefully because I have some standing meetings on Wednesdays, but maybe I can move those, so.
Okay. Could you just communicate with me on that, Hershey?
Yeah.
And I'll take it
Yeah.
from there. Appreciate it.
I have meetings for other municipalities sometimes on a Tuesday night, but for right now, I'm wrapping up the work in those towns. And so if
We're not going Tuesdays, we're going from the first.
I mean, excuse me, the Wednesdays instead of two, but that should be fine by me. As long as we're doing remote meetings, that's fine.
Okay. Okay.
And you
then-
guys are the important ones, so I'll work around you.
I have no idea what this gentleman's going to agree to do, but I told him I would run it by the board. So, okay. And I'll put out the call for planning board nominees anyway. We still need, even if he comes on, we need 2 or 3 more. So, and I see people showing up by virtual and having interest in the process, and that's great. So I'll put it out again. If you're interested in participating even as an alternate, that'd be great too. All right. I don't think we have Manley tonight, unfortunately, so I'll look for a motion to adjourn from somebody else. Someone.
I motion we adjourn so I can go back to the ball game.
Okay. I give you a
Okay.
second.
I'll
Somebody?
second.
Okay,
Thank you.
second, Betsy. All right, we're good. See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.